Hello, viewers. Good afternoon. Once again, I am with you with my new editorial. The topic on which I'm going to present my views is very disturbing, especially in a nation which is constitutionally governed nation. You might have seen that the STM of Karnal, Mr. Ayush Sinha, perhaps his name is this. His video gone viral on the social media platforms, and one can apparently see this subdivisional magistrate passing direction to a team of police for breaking the heads of the farmers who were on the protest there. We all know that farmers are on the protest regarding the farmers' law passed by the Modi government, and they are protesting for their legitimate demands, and that protest is continued. So, a part of this protest, farmers were protesting uh, in Karnal with respect to their demands. And this SDM, who was appointed to duty magistrate there, he passed the directions to the police for use of brutal force on the innocent farmers. And clearly, you anyone can hear, the public can hear him saying that once they cross certain area, no direction is required. You straightway break the heads of the farmers with their lathis, and it happened also. The heads of the farmers were broken. They were wounded, brutally, severely wounded by the police there. This all happened there on the directions of the responsible duty magistrate. Can he do that? The point before the public is, can he do that? And if he can do that, under what circumstances he can do that? What are those laws which empower him to uh, to use such brutal force on the innocent farmers? So this is very disturbing that our public servants, it is a blot on the public service of this country, that our public servants are not properly trained. in this respect under the color of their office. They pass any such direction which they like, and then they take the sovereign pleas. Such things, such brutes are not permissible in a constitutionally governed nation like India, because constitution guarantees the life, it guarantees the safety, it guarantees the security, and it also guarantees you to gather, to protest peacefully. So if the farmers are peacefully protesting, the question of use of force does not arise at all. Police has to watch, the duty magistrate has to watch whether the peace is disturbed. It is not that you straightway say that once they reach here, you break their heads. I will show you the video which, excuse me, which went viral on the social media. I will display that, share that video with the public, and you meticulously you hear this, watch this video, and decide on your own that what the officer is passing to the police force. Just wait a while, I will be sharing this. Now you can see this uh, video. Uh, you can see this, that the IS officer SDM, who is acting as duty magistrate there, is passing directions. किसी डायरेक्शन की जरूरत नहीं है, उनका सर फोड़ दो. Can he do that? It raises the question about the public service. He seems to be a blot on public service. And such officers, The government must take strict action against such erring officers, and they should be removed from the services permanently. No suspension, permanent removal of such officers. They are not fit officers in any democratic. So this uh, this I am displaying from the wall of Yogendra Yadav, who is also heading in this one of the is heading the farmers protest. He's a brilliant known person in our country, Mr. Yogendra Yadav. I am displaying this footage from his account on the Facebook. So you can hear this. This editorial will remain there. You can watch this. You can hear this hiring officer. I will stop sharing this video now. So you have seen that how this officer is passing directions to break the heads of the innocent farmers who are protesting there for their legitimate demands. Now, the question which arises before us is that how such officers can pass such directions to the police. This is not a country where dictatorship is there. This is a country which is constitutionally governed country. Constitutional provisions. Constitution of India guarantees right to life, guarantees safety, security to the people of India, citizen of India. So how can such officers? It means that these officers are not properly trained by the institutions, though they have passed the IS, but they are not properly trained to deal with the situations, to deal with the applications of law, and thereafter, after passing these directions, after causing harm to the human bodies, they they just prostrate under the sovereign pleas. This is disgusting. This is disturbing for any nation. So there is no necessity of such officers in the democracies, in any democracy. We need good officers. We need brilliant officers who could deal with the public, who could deal with the applications of law. We don't need such officers at all. Now, how? What are those provisions? We will try to have glance on those legal provisions which permits to deal with such situations with the protesting where protests are there, where there is lawful assembly or where there is unlawful assembly, or where there is affray, or where there is any sort of nuisance. uh, we have provisions in the criminal code of criminal procedure code uh, which deals with such situations. And one such provision is Section 133 and Section 144 of the Criminal Procedure Code. Uh, in Section 133 of Code of Criminal Procedure Code, criminal procedure, it deals with the situations of nuisances. And there is another section where Section 144 of CRPC, Code of Criminal Procedure, which deals with the emergencies, urgent cases, emergent cases. I just share the screen and show you from the provision what it says. You can see this. This is Section 144. This is Section 144, the Code of Criminal Procedure 1973. This is Central Act. Power to issue order in urgent cases of nuisance of apprehending danger. It says in cases where, in the opinion of a district magistrate, a subdivisional magistrate, or any other executive magistrate, specially empowered by the state government in this behalf, there is sufficient ground for proceeding under this section and immediate prevention of or speedy remedy is desirable. Such magistrate may, by written order stating the material facts of the case, served in the manner provided by Section 134, direct any persons to abstain from a certain act or to take certain order with respect to certain property in his possession or under his management if such magistrate considers that such directions is likely to prevent or tend to prevent obstruction, annoyance, or injury to any person lawfully employed or danger human life, health, safety, or disturbance of the public tranquility or a right of an affray. And under this section, I display this is I'm displaying the full now. You can read on your screens. Under these sections, if apprehensions are there that there is likelihood of any riot, affray, or maybe the protest disturb the public tranquility, then in those apprehended dangers, the magistrates, district magistrates or STM or any other executive magistrate can issue such notification under Section 144 to prevent all these danger which they are apprehending. Mind it, they are apprehending. Apprehension is there, but it has not happened on the ground. Suppose if The farmers are protesting peacefully. You can read this section later also. Uh, I stop the sharing. The expressions used in these provisions is very clear. This is preventive jurisdiction. The duty of the magistrate and police under him is to prevent any apprehended danger which has been described in the law. Apprehension means it is it is just apprehension in your mind, subjectively. Objectively, there is nothing on the ground, and we are preparing, we are keeping ourselves ready that if objectively, if any danger erupts, say for example, affray, riot, or other any sort of nuisance, if it erupts practically, empirically on the ground, then you have to prevent that. You have to stop that. And now you have to see that how much force is required to stop such dangers. If the if the protesting people there, if they have nothing in their hands, they are unarmed, and you start, state police start using arms on such unarmed people, then it is disturbing. You can't do that. You have to use proportionate force. You can't use uh, a knife, a lathi, a pistol on a person who is unarmed. Absolutely. He has nothing in his hands. You can't stab him, you can't shoot him. So you have to use proportionate force. But if you carefully listen to the video which went viral of that officer, the sub-divisional magistrate, who was acting as duty magistrate there, he unambiguously says, there is no ambiguity in his voice. He says, कोई डायरेक्शन नहीं चाहिए, सर फोड़ दो. Which means, which amounts to violation, breach of the constitutional provisions, the law of the land. Section 144 does not permit such irresponsible voices from the officers. sar fold. Law talks about apprehensions, and so long as those are apprehensions, you can't use anything. There is no question of using force. But here the officer says, directs his police, sir fold do. No directions are required. So this is irresponsibility of such an officer who perhaps is an IS officer who enjoys high reputation in the society. He is a public servant. He is paid by the public. He is paid by the public, I tell you. Public paid taxes, and from those taxes, the revenue which the government collects from the public, then such people are paid salaries. So he is a public servant. This is the difference between the public servant and the private servant. What happens in case of private servant? It is the one family, one individual who pays from his own pockets. But in case of public servant, it is the pocket of the millions and millions of people, citizens who pays taxes, and then salaries are high salaries, high facilities are provided to these people. So they are on the behest of the public. Whatever they are enjoying, they are on the behest of the it is on the behest of the public who pays taxes to the government, and government pays salaries to these officers and provide luxurious accommodations to these officers and wipe powers which they enjoy, and later take the pleas of sovereign, take the sovereign pleas to escape their illegalities, illegal acts. It's very disgusting. So until or unless, if you read carefully section 144, it talks about apprehensions. It talks about preventive jurisdiction, preventions. Until or unless something happens on the ground, they can't use force. And if they use force, they have to use proportionate force, not whatever they like, whatever they wish, whatever they desire, they will do. I tell you that latest it has happened uh, in United States, Minneapolis city of United States, where the innocent person, protesting person, George Floyd, he was killed by the police officer. He, the police officer, pressed him under his knee. He was knelt down by the police officers, and that person was writhing in pain, was entreating to that police officer that he cannot breathe, but that wild person did not care about it. and that Mr. George Floyd was killed like this. Later, that police officer was sentenced uh, to a very long imprisonment. But that opened the subject of use of force by the police, not in the United States only, but everywhere on the globe. And a committee was constituted there which said that the American police is not well trained to use force. Now you can imagine that what can be the condition of the police in a country like India if the United States police is not trained to use force, then where our police stands that way. And these IS officer who is responsible officer of that area, he is not a police, he is district magistrate, and he is acting like a dictator. He is acting like a policeman and directing the police to break the heads of the farmers. This is unconstitutional. Everything has its own limits. This is why the society, the countries is being governed by the rule of law. It is the rule of law which sustains your society. Once you override this, your society will become lawless. So this is lawless activity of that officer. He forgot about the rule of law. Perhaps he is not trained for rule of law. Perhaps he doesn't know the meaning of rule of law. This is why he is hurling such directions to break the heads of the farmers. So the public must keep check on such activities, unlawful activities of the officers. They should complain about them because they can't do that. Now, the other provision which I would like to advert everybody's attention that we have Indian Penal Code and there is a chapter which deals with journal exceptions. This is very important chapter in the Indian Penal Code and Section 97 of the Indian Penal Code. It it grants you the right of private defense, subject to the provisions of Section 99 of the Indian Penal Code, where no right of private defense extends. I will state we take you to Section 99 of the Indian Penal Code, uh, and we will try to find out what it says. I will just a while, I will share the screen with you to show Section 99. You can see on your screen section. Oh, no, this is another section. Let me display. Let me display section. Yes. Now you can see section. Section 99, acts against which there is no right of private defense. It says there is no right of private defense against an act which does not reasonably cause the apprehension of death or of grievous hurt, if done, or attempted to be done by a public servant acting in good faith under colors of his office, though that act may not be strictly justifiable by law. There is no right of private defense against an act which does not reasonably cause the apprehension of death. Uh, the other part is there is no right of private defense in cases in which there is time to have recourse to the protection of the public authorities, extent to which the right may be exercised. The right of private defense in no case extend to the inflicting of more harm than it is necessary to inflict for the purpose of defense. This is what I wanted to convey to the public, that section 99 is very clear. It clearly says, unambiguously says, that these are the areas where no right of private defense extends. As I have explained, that so long as apprehensions are there, you can't use anything against anybody. Section 97, which grants you the right of private defense subject to section 99. It does not mean that a man with having nothing, no arms in his hands, you come with a gun and you shoot him. You can't inflict such injuries on the person. These are clearly prohibited by law. It talks about the proportionate force. Once again, I will read that. The right of private defense in no case extends to the inflicting of more harm than it is necessary to inflict for the purpose of defense. It's very clear. You have to see if you can if you can take the person into custody, legal custody, without using force. You have to do that. You can't go beyond that because there is no use of force from the other side. He is submitting himself to your custody, but you are using lathis on him, you are using guns on him. You can't do that. Therefore, Any officer who, who acts in his magisterial capacity, he must be trained on these things. He must know that what to do, what is the law. So they must be trained on such things. But these officers, the utterances of this officer, the STM, Karnal city, he is acting beyond these legal provisions. He straightway say, "You just, I will stop the screen." He just say that you break the heads of the farmers protesting for farmers. They are innocent. They are not affraying. They are not disturbing the public tranquility. They are peacefully protesting. And you are directing your police to break their heads. This is nuisance rather on the part of that officer. He's not trained. He's using the color of his office. He is high-handed. He is arrogant. He is intoxicated by the power. So no officer, no magistrate can pass, can utter such words which are beyond beyond his jurisdiction, which the law does not permit, which the constitution does not permit. He can't. Now there is another provision with respect to the use of force, that how the police can use force. There is section 46 now of the criminal procedure code. What I am explaining here, I am explaining the rule of law, that this nation is being governed by rule of law, not by dictates. We have to we have to follow the rule of law. This is the constitutional mandate which everyone mandatory requires to follow. There is a due process of law. Now I take you to have a glance on section 46 now, for which I will share my screen with you to state more effectively. Now you can see on your screen very clearly section 46. This is the provision. I will read it out for you people, for the viewers' benefit. This provision highlights, lays down that how the arrests can be made, what police has to do while taking the person in custody, while arresting the person. I will read. 46 arrest how made. Clause 1. In making an arrest, the police officer or other person making the same shall actually touch or confine the body of the person to be arrested, unless there be a submission to the custody by word or action. So this is first part, that how the person can be arrested. The police officer have to touch or has to confine the body of the person to be arrested, unless it is said that I submit myself to the custody of the police. So this is first clause which speaks. Now, if I am submitting myself, now I will take it from the other side. No, that I say to the police that I am submitting myself to the custody, but police here if start using force on me, then this is illegal. Police can't use force if somebody is making his submission to the custody of the police. Number two clause, if such person forcibly resists the endeavor to arrest him or attempts to evade the arrest, such police officer or other person may use all means necessary to effect the arrest. Nothing in this section gives a right to cause the death of a person who is not accused of an offense punishable with death or with imprisonment for life. Now, there is another situation which may arise while arresting the person. He may forcibly resist his arrest. If police is endeavoring to arrest him and if he forcibly resists his arrest, or if he tries to evade the arrest, that under those circumstances, police has the means, necessary means. You see, uh, the expression used is in such circumstances, the police officer or other person may use all means necessary to effect. Then he may use all means necessary to effect the arrest. It does not mean, all means does not mean that you will shoot the person. If he runs and you also run and you catch him, but you instead of catching him, you shoot him. You can't do that. You can't do to cause harm to such an extent while arresting a person. Number three says, nothing in this section gives a right to cause the death. So, number three is also very clear. It does not give police a right to cause the death of a person who is not accused of an offense punishable with death or with imprisonment for life. The substance of this provision is, the law is, even if the accused is, the person is accused of an offense punishable with death or with imprisonment for life, if he submits himself to the custody of the police, then police cannot cause his death, cannot shoot him, because he's making his submissions to the custody, submission to the custody of the police. You have to use means according to the circumstances and proportionately. This section cannot be read in isolation of the other provisions. This section cannot read in isolation of constitution or in isolation of general exceptions, section 97 or section 99 of the Indian Penal Code. The sum total of all these provisions is that proportionate force is required to use by the police while making arrests, while dispersing the mob, if the mob is peaceful, if the protest is peaceful. Because when the protest is peaceful, there is no question regarding use of force. Police just has to see, has to prevent that nothing such like danger should happen. So, taking into consideration the provisions, the constitutional mandate of rule of law, section 97, section 99 of the Indian Penal Code, section 144, section 133 of the Criminal Procedure Code, we come to the conclusion that the use of force is required to be used proportionately and not according to the whims and caprices of the officer, the duty magistrate. So, when we relate these these legal provisions with the utterances of the officer, which we have heard on the viral video and which I shared with you, then that officer is negligent. That officer is errant. He is behaving unconstitutionally, illegally. So, under the color of his office, he can't utter such things in public or direct his police under his control to use force against the innocent farmers who are protesting for their legitimate demands from the government. Uh, you direct your police to break their heads. I leave this topic, the observations, to you people. You decide about such officers because it is the public who can decide, who can formulate their opinion and impress upon the government to remove such officers from the public services who behaves unconstitutionally. With this, I will end my this editorial, and next time we'll have some more uh, topic of public interest, and we will discuss. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Have a good day. Thank you.